YouTube, it is your favorite game here above Average Cody coming at you with the best controller settings for Halo Infinite Ranked in 2023 here, guys. It's been a little bit since I've updated you guys on my controller settings, and we're going to do just that today. I'm not only going to show you guys my settings, and I realize the title of this is the best controller settings, guys, but you have to remember controller settings are very personal. No two people are necessarily going to have the same controller settings. So even though I think my controller settings are very good and very dialed in, they may not work as well for you. But the goal of this is to kind of show you guys what I have and kind of teach you how you can adjust it to work better for your gameplay. And obviously going to a new year of Halo Infinite, I thought today was a perfect time to add to our long series of controller settings videos. Now, jumping right in, we're going to start right at the top here in the controller settings tab in overall settings. My button layout does say custom, but I basically run like the Call of Duty setup here. So the right trigger's fire weapon, obviously. Right bumper's like use equipment. Left bumper throw a grenade. Left trigger zoom. I push in sprint on the left stick, of course. And then ABXY is pretty typical. A, jump. B, crouch and slide. X is reload. And Y is switch weapon. It is the most default controller layout ever. I'm a Call of Duty boy at heart, guys, so I run basically what I ran for years on Call of Duty. And I will mention, I do have an Xbox Elite Series 2. Everybody always wants to know what controller I run. I run two Control Freaks. And I have 4 paddles on the back for the ABXY. If you're more interested in how I set up the controller hardware itself, I have videos on the channel in the controller setup playlist. Thumbstick layout default, obviously. Left is move, right is aim. Nothing special there. Vibration, off. I really don't have anything too special in the movement and aiming, so I'm not even going to talk about them. I do use hold to crouch and hold to zoom. Hold to crouch makes it much, much easier to crouch in gunfights rather than tapping it multiple times. You just hold it down and then let it go when you don't want to crouch anymore. It just makes for less button presses, guys. Same thing with hold to zoom. Getting scope knocked, you just have to keep holding it down to go back into the scope rather than pushing the button multiple times. Maintain sprint, I have on. Auto clamber, I have off. And step jump, I have on. And now into the nitty gritty here, the settings you guys all care about. I have 2 on the look Excel, 5.5 on the horizontal look, and then 6 on the vertical look. Now, this is where I changed a couple settings. Now, you guys know I've run the same controller settings for probably 6+ months now, and that's why I kind of cut back on my controller settings videos, because I haven't been changing anything, but you guys ask sometimes in stream, so I thought, new year, new controller settings video. So I did go down a half on each of the look sensitivities. So I was at 6, 6.5, but now I'm at 5.5 and 6. Now the reason for this is, occasionally, whether I have cold hands, whether I'm early on in my ranked session or what have you, I find myself kind of getting jumpy with the right stick. Either I over-aim, I kind of like move the stick too much when I'm in a strafing gunfight, and just it feels a little bit crazy. And with talks of like a DMR and a single-fire gun coming, I really want to try to get more precise. And make no mistake, my aim has improved significantly. I feel I'm very accurate. You guys have seen me going crazy with the S7 Sniper on pit and things like that, but I just felt I had to lower it a little tiny bit, but again, my aim is so good that I did not really want to drop it too drastically, so it felt off. So I only went down a little half. I do not think I'm going to go any lower. I'm pretty confident I'm going to stay here. I just changed it recently, which is what made me think to do the controller settings video. So this is where I'm at now, and 2 on the look Excel because I feel it also helps me prevent flicking the stick too far in my gunfights, guys. Now, look acceleration. Again, I'm going to leave you guys with a better understanding of all this stuff. Look Excel is how quickly the look, like how your sensitivity, how quickly it increases to the max movement speed. It's a tough thing to explain. A lot of people don't truly know what it does. That's why I'm kind of stumbling over my words here, because sometimes it can be hard to explain to everybody. But basically, when you start moving your right thumbstick, guys, it's not at the max speed. It moves a little bit slow at first, then if you pin your stick, it will gradually ramp up to the maximum speed. So the higher you have this value, the faster, quote-unquote, it can feel like your look sensitivity is moving and you can turn around faster and things like that. But if you have it lower, the small, precise movements don't move the stick as fast unless you're really pinning the stick. And I do play with a raised right stick, so I've found success running the lower look acceleration value. But if you want to be able to turn a little bit faster, you want that ramp up acceleration to happen that much faster, you can go a little higher than 2 here. And then obviously horizontal and vertical sensitivity, guys. I run a half a bit higher on the vertical. You'll see a lot of players go higher, 1 to 2 even, on the vertical as opposed to the horizontal. And that's just because, you know, you're looking up at the ceiling on recharge to grapple, you know, you're looking down to throw a grenade, so you want those up-down movements to be a little bit faster. My honest advice on that, guys, don't go too high, don't separate these too much, because that can screw with your muscle memory. It can feel very weird when looking up and down is very fast and looking left to right is very slow. Now, zoom level. This goes for all scopes, guys, everything from sniper scope, BR scope, what have you. I have it all default. I have it all on just 1 times multiplier. I'll show you guys each one in case you don't believe me. All of it's default. I don't like changing these. I really do believe changing these screws with your muscle memory and what you can get used to. And if you've been playing on default for so long, guys, then you change it. It can seriously throw off your gameplay, especially between all of the scopes. So I leave everything default. Everything, like I said, sniper, zoomed sniper, everything just 1 time sensitivity. Now, trigger dead zones, guys. It says the default line is here, but this is literally what my dead zones have been ever since I even, like, so much as opened the game, and you guys do not need to check your Xbox app. That is my Xbox app, for some reason, making sounds. This is all default for me. It says the default line's here, but I literally have 0% left inner, 100% left outer, 0% right inner, 100% right outer. Again, I have never changed these settings. This is what I've had since they've been added to the game, and unless you have issues charging a plasma pistol or having full auto gun stay firing, you really shouldn't have to change any of those settings. At least I haven't had to. Now, my move thumbstick, guys, I have the center dead zone, 5.5, max input, 15, axial, 0. Now, the dead zones, guys, that is basically when you first move the stick, how quickly it's going to react. There's a little circle, imaginary circle, where your stick sits. And the smaller the dead zone, the smaller that circle gets, and you can move the stick and it'll instantly start registering. Now, you want to go as low on this value as you possibly can without any stick drift. Stick drifts when you're just not touching your stick and your character's moving or looking around. 5.5 is where I had to go, but I have 0 on the axial. Axial covers more the diagonals of the dead zones. So, like, your up to the left, up to the right, down to the right, and down to the left. If I move this value up a little bit, I could probably get this one a little lower, because center dead zone covers all the way around. Axial covers more the diagonals. You can play with these guys. Just make sure you have them low enough where you don't have any stick drift, because you really don't want your sticks moving when you don't want them to, basically. Max input threshold for the move stick, guys, just put it on 15. This makes it react the fastest, and I promise you that. If you don't believe me, put it on 0, strafe, put it on 15, strafe. 15 is going to give you the fastest strafe, and it even says here in the bottom right, guys, lower value increases the variance in the acceleration curve, higher value reduces slow turn, which basically means the higher value is going to get you to that max input, almost like look acceleration, faster. But if you set it lower, it increases the variation, which means you're going to have to pin your stick all the way to the edge to hit that max input. That's why it's called max input threshold. Now, same things on the look thumbstick, guys. Center dead zone, 0. But again, I have axial at 6. I feel this just works good for my aim. I had my axial down towards 0, but somebody said move it up to 5 or 6, and I moved it there, and I've liked it ever since, so I've run this for quite a long time. And then max input, 0, exactly for the opposite reason that I have 15 on the move. It increases the variation in the acceleration curve. So I want more of a variation because I want to make finer aim movements. With the max input on the move thumbstick, guys, you're moving forwards, back, left, right. You're just like ham-fisting that. You don't need to be as intricate with your movements. However, with aim, a very touchy system, a very tough thing to be accurate and comfortable with. So I want more of a variation in how far I move the thumbstick, especially playing raised on my right stick. So I do have this at 0. Again, guys, you want this as low as you can possibly get it, the dead zone, with no stick drift. I'm able to get it all the way to 0. But again, it could be because my axial is at 6. If I put my axial down to 0, I may get a little drift, and I'll have to bump the dead zone up a little bit. that you guys will just have to play with on your own. Again, if you get in any drift, just go up a little bit and just go until your stick drift stops. Because again, you don't want your sticks moving around just when your controller's like sitting on the desk. And even on my Elite, sometimes if I set the sticks a certain way, I'll get a little tiny bit of drift, but it's not to the point where it bothers me or affects my gameplay. So I don't change these unless I have like a drastic problem, and this is just what I run them at currently. It's what I'm comfortable with, but you guys may find completely different values that work for you. That's why I'm kind of trying to describe what everything does as we go, so that if you don't like my values, you still kind of understand what it does, and you can hopefully find something more comfortable. And finally, guys, my button mappings, I have 0 things changed. Again, I just have ABXY on my back paddles so that basically I can hit everything, jump, slide, what have you, without taking my finger off the aim stick, so that I can basically jump shot people with the sniper or aim while I'm sliding around a corner, and higher skill movements like that. The only thing I have keyed differently is I believe I have my ping to up on the D-pad. I don't know what it defaults to, but I intentionally set it to up on the D-pad because that was just the easiest thing to really hit for me, because I don't have a paddle to assign to it, and I don't play anything wonky like claw or anything, so I literally just reach down off the left thumbstick to hit up on the D-pad to mark my enemies. And that pretty much does it, guys. Everything else is pretty default for button layouts. And that's it. That's pretty much all my controller settings. Some other tidbits here that I know people always ask about. My FOV is on 97. Everybody seems to want to know that when I talk controller stuff. My FOV is 97. Ever since I've tried 97, I love it. I feel it really helps me in the close range gunfights. I feel my aim assist is a little bit better. Again, aim assist has to do with scaling and the object appearing further away, but plenty of videos already on FOV that I've done, guys. I'm not going to get too much into it in controller settings, but I love this. I've tried changing it, and it feels like my aim is worse, so I leave it at 97. But that pretty much does it, guys. Again, not necessarily the best controller settings for everybody, but this is what works best for me. You go to 5 other Halo players, and I guarantee you they probably have all different values. This is what works for me. I'm not necessarily saying take these and use them, and you're going to have amazing aim. But again, this is what works for me, and my goal is to give you guys a better understanding of each of the settings here so that you guys can learn for yourselves and hopefully understand what each of these does, so that when you're trying to find what works for you and what is most comfortable, you already have the understanding to go and just figure out the best value. But alrighty, guys, that does it for this one. I really do hope this one helped you out. If you're into Halo content, subscribe to the channel, of course. We don't do settings videos all that often because, again, I don't make too many changes, but we do stream Halo Infinite Ranked 5 days a week. I'm doing a ton of tips. We're currently getting into higher Onyx lobbies, so I'm trying to learn and take what I'm learning and kind of convert it to videos for you guys so you guys can improve along with me. So hit that sub button, guys. Leave a like on the video as well. Feel free to leave a comment, any questions, whatever you have. I'm more than willing to answer and help you guys out with your controller settings. And other than that, guys, channel membership, super thanks. If you'd like to donate, it helps out so much, but please don't feel like you have to. But alrighty, guys, this video is long enough. That does it for me. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay tuned for the next video.